Hey.
Very sporting of them, wasn't it? Handling the case for nothing.
I think we ought to send him a nice present.
Hey there, creepy peeps. It's time for another movie review. Only a third one. We got a whole month, guys. It's gonna be great. Today, I'm gonna be talking about the movie Misery. I know, I've never seen the movie Misery. A lot of these movies you're gonna see me review, I've seen parts of them, like in documentaries and things, like, or I've like read about them or seen like bits and scenes and stuff like that. So obviously from Misery, I've seen the hobbling scene, but other than that, I had no idea what the movie was about, or the book I should say, either. And yeah, I've never seen the movie in full. So Misery is based off of a Stephen King book by the same name, I'm sure, and directed by Rob Reiner, actually, which was kind of surprising. That was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting him to direct a movie like this, but I guess I think I read somewhere that it was that King wanted him to direct it because he liked what he did with Stand By Me, which I have seen. Yeah, so it stars James Caan, who plays Paul Sheldon, who is a historical romance author, like, you know, those series that have like tons and tons of books. And the title character's name is Misery. So we open with Sheldon finishing a new book. The last Misery book that came out, he kills off the title character, thus ending the series, and we open with him finishing his last like real book, you know, something that's not Misery. When he gets into an accident on his way home and is saved by Annie Wilkes, played brilliantly by Kathy Bates. And while he's recuperating, he slowly starts to find out that Annie, who is his #1 fan, is also very, very, very not well in the head. Basically, any one of us, if we found our favorite author or director or fill in the blank favorite person in an accident and they were bedridden and we got to take care of them, we probably all might go a little bit Annie Wilkes, I think. So of course, while Paul is bedridden with broken legs, Annie kind of puts on the ruse that, you know, the blizzard that got him in the accident, you know, it's closed off all the roads, so the ambulance can't get here yet, so she luckily is a nurse and is gonna take care of him while they wait, and her phones are down and blah, 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 blah. So she finds out that Paul kills off Misery, and that's what kind of sets everything in motion. That's what kind of sets everything in motion. We really get to see the psycho part of Annie. You get like little glimpses of her being kind of creepy, but then it all comes to fruition when she finds out that Misery is dead and there will be no more Misery books. So she forces Paul to burn the manuscript that he just finished when he got in the accident, and then buys like a typewriter and all this and forces him to write another mystery book, another Misery book. So by far the best scene has got to be the hobbling scene, which I have seen in part before, but it almost made it even more suspenseful when I knew it was coming. Like when I knew when Sheldon wakes up from being knocked out and he's got like the block of wood between his legs and Annie comes in with a sledgehammer, you know what's gonna happen. Even if you didn't know what was gonna happen, you pretty much know what she's gonna do. And she breaks one of his legs again so that he is gonna be stuck there forever. Yeah, so that by far is a brilliant scene. And actually Kathy Bates won an Oscar for Best Actress for that performance, which well deserved. And it did have a few, I mean, obviously the whole movie is very suspenseful. Anytime anyone comes round her house, and she kind of, or anytime she leaves the house and Paul is trying to like find ways to get out, it's all very it's all very suspenseful, and it builds a lot of tension and almost frustration because you just want him to make it out already. You want somebody to come to the house and find out that he's there, and because people are looking for him, obviously he's a best-selling author, so everyone's looking for him. So you just want somebody to find him already. So it's almost really frustrating. And then that all kind of comes to a head when the local sheriff, Buster, he kind of, you can tell he figures it out. He starts reading all the Misery novels, and then he kind of puts two and two together when he looks up Annie Wilkes's past, because it's known in the town that she is a huge fan of those books because she's always the first person to go buy one when it comes into their general store. So he kind of looks into her past, and she's loosely based off of an actual person, an actual nurse who was said to have killed, like, it was like 50 something children or something that were in her care. So her character has that background, and he was reading an old paper about her, and she quotes a Paul Sheldon book, which he's been reading. So he finally figures it out, goes to her house and is walking around, and as soon as he finds Sheldon, all of a sudden Annie shoots him through the chest, and it's like a huge explosion of gore, and that caught me so by surprise. And it was also really, really frustrating again, because you're just like, yes, he's saved. And then no, he's not. Which leads into a really interesting fight between Annie and Paul, with Paul effectively killing Annie in the end. So eventually he makes it out, finally. But it is really frustrating to watch when you want him to make it out. And there's so many opportunities where he like comes this close, and only for her to come back home, or for Buster to get shot in the chest. So I really liked the role reversal a little bit. A lot of times in these movies, it's a man who's obsessed with a woman and terrorizing a woman. So I like the idea of a crazed woman obsessed with a man and terrorizing him, and he kind of takes on the more feminine role of being helpless, which, I mean, it's because he was in an accident, but you know. And I think this story still really holds up today, especially nowadays with all the social media, and you can follow all of your favorite people. You can follow your favorite authors, you can follow your favorite musicians, actors, directors. I mean, if they are on social media, that is. But you can follow them, and then you can look up news stories and images of them. And so I think it still holds true today, and I think it would be really interesting to see, like, I say this lightly because I'm not a huge fan of remakes, but it would be interesting to see a remake of Misery kind of brought into 2016. I think it still really holds up, and it could really translate well to audiences now. So overall, really enjoyed this movie. I mean, that's all there is to say. It's really suspenseful, a lot of tension, a lot of frustration, which at the time is frustrating, but it ends up being enjoyable to watch. So do recommend Misery if you've never seen it, which I feel silly saying that. I'm gonna feel silly saying that for a lot of these movies because I'm probably gonna be like the only one that has never seen it yet. So if you've seen Misery, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And if you've read Stephen King's book, Misery, I'm sure it's called Misery as well, let me know what you thought about it. Is it worth reading? I've never actually read a Stephen King book. Sorry. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of my face and hear more of my voice. And thank you if you're subscribed already. Until next time, stay straight. Bye. You know who I would definitely pull